What's up guys, Ryan here with Fly Fish Iowa. I wanted to give you a quick review on the Fishpond Nomad hand net. It was back around 2015. I was working at Big Fork Anglers Fly Shop in Big Fork, Montana. The shop owner had given me a brand new Fishpond net. I never would have purchased a Fishpond net because I thought they were too expensive. All I had ever used was cheap made in China wooden nets. Now, when I first got a hold of this Fishpond net, I was kind of blown away. It's a very, very nice construction. You can see that their handle is kind of this soft and yet grippy material, and it does have a really deep bucket. My first impression was that this net is huge, and there's no way I was ever going to catch fish that were going to fit in this net. It was too much. Over the years, I've found that it's been a very versatile net because of its size and how deep that bucket is. It is a little bit larger than some of the other Fishpond hand net series, but I can say that this is really a great net size for what I'm doing here in Iowa. So the net has a bag depth of 12 inches and it's about 18 inches long. From the end of the net to the handle is 26 inches. I like having these really concrete dimensions on my net because then it's really easy for me to measure fish when I'm on the water. I know that from one end of the net to the other end is 18 inches. I know that from one end of the frame to the other is 26. Easy measurements. This net floats, and thankfully it floats really well. I had an experience where I actually lost this net after netting a fish, and it had come loose from my pack, and it was floating down the river. I noticed it within a minute, and I immediately ditched all my gear and sprinted down the bank as fast as I could, and found it floating in a tail out. No problems, recovered just fine. The frame of this net is incredibly durable. I, unfortunately, am not the wisest walker when I'm bushwhacking to find my next great fishing spot, and instead of using a walking stick, I sometimes use my fishing net. When I used the cheap made in China wooden nets, those frames snapped on me multiple times because I either started to take a fall or had put too much weight on the frame of the net and it snapped it. Now, I don't recommend this, but I've definitely done this quite often with my Fishpond net as well, and I have owned it for over 6 years, and it is still intact, even though I've put quite a significant amount of weight on the frame of this net. Mine, if you were to see it in person, you can see that it has significant wear on one end of the net, and that's not because of anything Fishpond did. It's actually because of my use of it. Sometimes I push this onto things as I'm jumping over a tree or as I'm slipping and trying to catch myself. The rubber nets do wear out over time. My current one actually has a couple gaps in it that I will need to replace in the next year or two. But Fishpond does offer replacement products for that. It's pretty simple to string those replacement nets and secure them. As far as what this net can hold, the rubber is a quality material. I know I've said that some of my strands break. A lot of times that's because I'm walking through brush and some of the rubber gets caught in the brush and just snips through one of the rubber connections in the net. But I put large fish in this net. I have put carp in this net. I've put buffalo in this net, walleye, a lot of different fish species that are large and sometimes up to 10 or 15 pounds. And this net has held up just fine. Some people may look at a net like this and become a little nervous or shy based on the price tag. Yes, this net is over $100. And yet, I can tell you this. Number one, Fishpond stands by its products. If anything goes wrong, they will take care of you. Number two, these nets last a long time. I hope this is the last hand net I ever own. I think that if I take good care of it from here on out, it could last me the rest of my lifetime. Number three, this is a sizable net that can hold some sizable fish. So if you ever have a chance of running into a larger fish, this is a good net to have around because it can carry some larger fish. If you're an adventurous wading angler who likes to get out and explore, you maybe get into a larger fish every once in a while, or you tend to target a lot of different species, this net would be a great option for you, and the Fishpond Nomad hand net is something that I can recommend. Tight lines, hope to see you on the water.